Right then, take two. Since take one didn't want to work before. That was an issue on my side. I had a bad connection, I think. My home internet is dreadful, so I've actually gone back to hotspotting on my phone because it's actually faster. There we go. Anyway, 5 minutes left of qualifying, so we've not lost too much. We'll give you a little bit of a cap of the order as it stands. So everyone's pretty much set a lap time, so we've got a good idea of what the grid might look like. We've got Fabuki on pole. He lines up pole. He's got 48.9 under his belt so far, almost as good as what I did. Fabuki, keep pushing. Britsberger. Oh, someone's binned it in the background. Britsberger's P2 at the minute. He was very close between him and Obi-Wan last week for the outright win. Carrington it was that stacked it into the wall. He's got engine damage. He's going to have to lip round. He might not get another lap in, but he's P3 at the minute, is Carrington. He had a dreadful start last week out. Got caught up in other people's accidents, basically. Staying out of the way of the other car there. We've got Apache in P4 at the minute. 2 seconds off the pace. Rick to continue up in P5. Quite surprisingly as well, we've got Scrabo P6. Obi-Wan is P7. Doesn't look like Obi-Wan's actually set a time yet. It looks like he's just backing off there, waiting to get some space on track. Fabuki improves his time, 48.6. Cutler improves his time as well. Soul Food's currently P9 and P-Gib in P10. He had a good outing last week. He's just been driving some Ford Focuses, so he's got to revert back to driving fast cars. That time Cutler set is good enough to put himself into P2 and nudge Britsberger down to the second row of the grid. Apache puts himself into P4 then, with an improved time of 50.2. Soul Foods finally does set a time. Where's that putting? P6 for Soul Foods with a 52.7. Doesn't like anyone's getting anywhere near Fabuki at the minute. 1.4 seconds ahead of every other driver. And of course these are push laps. We don't know what his race pace is like yet. A lot of drivers do come undone when it comes to the race. When they start to think about their fuel and tyre management. And these Group 2's tyre management, that is actually quite difficult. They have that much power and torque, they will shred those tyres. The front left at Suzuka takes an absolute kicking. Cars like Turn 1, the S's. The front right don't get away easily anyway, because Spoon exists, but there we go. And we've got another car. That was Rick to continue, struggling to get himself going. Rick currently standing P7, has a 9-second advantage over Scrabo in P8. Obi-Wan, we're waiting on his lap. He's just come around to Spoon now. He's got some traffic ahead of him though. This lap doesn't seem to be that much of a push for Obi-Wan. He was taking Spoon very conservatively there, and again for Obi-Wan, I think he's just saving his bacon. However, he'll improve. 49.9 for Cutler then, edging closer to Fabuki, but it's not going to be enough to overhaul the pole sitter for the time being. Just intrigued as to what Obi-Wan can do. He's not hooking up the curbs, Obi-Wan, as much as I thought he might be. He was missing a few curbs. He's going to be in the 2 minutes for Obi-Wan. It's not going to be a fast lap really. It's P8 with 2 minutes point 9. He'll have time for one more go at it. Meanwhile, Fabuki 1.3 seconds ahead of Cutler, who improved last time out. Cutler's P2. Currently on the basic livery there. We've got Britsberger P3, Apache P4, Carrington, who we saw had that off on an outlap. He's going for another one now. Let's see if Carrington can improve on the 150.4 he's currently representing. With Soul Foods, we just saw him put on 52.1 on the board. Rick to continue, 52.7 is his best so far. Obi-Wan a 2 minutes point 9. Scrabo in the wall at Casio Triangle by the looks of it. He's on a 201.9. P-Gib. Looks like P-Gib and Scrabo have had a coming together. P-Gib's got some damage. This is going to severely affect P-Gib's ability to set a representative time, because he's carrying front suspension damage on that car. It is heavy damage in this league, so the damage doesn't just go away. The guys will carry that damage unless they pit to repair it. So this is going to affect P. Gibbs' time. Don't expect magic from P. Gibb this time round. He's already having to scrub off speed through the S's. Fabuki then an outlap. He's going to go for one more go at this. Cutler, has he got enough tyres? He might have enough tyres to have another go, but he might struggle to improve on his 49.9 with those tyres. Although the car's now burning through the fuel, so the fuel weight is going, and that will help. As we see Carrington there, Carrington picked up some damage. What happened to Carrington? We don't have the replay function here, I'm afraid. He's burnt through his rear tyres. I think he's just doing some donuts. We see Rick continue to improve. Obi-Wan improves actually. Obi-Wan improves to a 49.4 on only his second push lap. That's a fantastic lap from Obi-Wan. Not a lot of practice from that guy so far. A couple of drivers are giving it up. Who are we going to keep an eye on? We're going to keep an eye on P. Gibb. What's his sector times been like? P. Gibb's sector times 31. They've not been terrible, but they've not been quick. This is certainly not going to be a pole lap by any stretch of the imagination. I've got a feeling, looking at the time there, he's got 18 seconds. Is he going to do it? I'm not sure. Is he going to improve? He's going to improve in his time. His time's a 58.1, but it's not really going to be enough. It's going to get him up to P8, 52.0 for P. Gibb. 3.4 seconds off the pace is P. Gibb, who finished in P3 last time out. Fabuki going for another one, but he's got a penalty, so he might well just have to give up on that. Britsberger's going round as well, hoping to improve. It was Fabuki. He's 48.6 to beat. Actually puts a 48.4 on the board, but has to serve that penalty with it, so it chunks him to a 48.6 in the end. Obi-Wan P2, Cutler P3, Britsberger is P4. Is he going to be able to change that? Britsberger does improve P3, nudges Cutler down a spot then, so those two change places on the grid. Apache P5, Soul Foods P6, Carrington P7 with no tyres left. P. Gibb P8, Rick to continue is P9 unless he can change that fortune. He improves up to P8, nudges P. Gibb down another spot, 51.5 for Rick to continue. So P. Gibb now nudged down to the back of the grid with TRG Scrabo. I did have my chat open, or did I? I didn't have my chat open, for God's sake. Right, if you've commented in the last 5 seconds, I haven't seen it, so I do apologise. I do apologise severely for that. Right, let me get my Stream Deck open. Give me a second. Stream Manager. There we go. I will now see comments if you're watching this. It's a straight 40-minute endurance race. We have fuel, we have tyres on. Vincent, you're not racing, Vincent. Evening, Steffers. John is P7 by the looks of it, but he's got the pace. Like, there's not a lot in it. Just get rid of those. Let's get some of that on. Awesome. So Fabuki's windscreen wipers are on again. He loves the windscreen wiper, does Fabuki. He's going to get us on the way at Suzuka for 40 minutes of Group 2 action. Obi-Wan got a really poor start there. He's going to get caught by Britsberger, Cutler, Apache's involved in that as well. So this battle for P2 is going to go down to the wire. Cutler just about nudging ahead of everyone else. And we've got Obi-Wan who's just about managed to rescue it. We've got a couple of cars that just ran wide there coming out of turn 1. That was Apache. Carrington is involved in that as well. We'll jump on board with Carrington in a second and have a look what happened. Unless something juicy happens, we'll go and have a look at what happened from Carrington's perspective at the start. Who's there? Soul Foods up to P4 at the start. Soul Foods have got Britsberger P5, P. Gibbs up to P6, then Rick continues following him. But Fabuki is making a run for it. Cutler is trying to stop him in his tracks, but he has got an Obi-Wan who had a terrible start. Wants to change his perspective. Soul Foods and Britsberger, I think it was, had a little bit of a coming together there. A little bit of side door contact on the braking point into the hairpin. Britsberger, as you can see, really not happy about that. He's going to try and get right back on the back of the Soul Foods in P4. contact did appear to be completely unnecessary. Does anyone mess it up at Spoon? Looks like P-Gib ran it wide. Yes, P-Gib can always be trusted to cock it up. Tries to dip back on and out of the way. Fair play. Carrington's already up to P9. Right, let's jump on board with Carrington, just see what happened at the start there. So this is Carrington's start. He's P7. Gets a really good jump, goes to the outside. There's not really much room. He's dicing with Duffy already. He's got dirty tyres. He's just going to get hung out to dry. Yeah, and then collides with Apache. So I'm sorry, Carrington. That one, mate, was all on you. Your left-hand tyres would have been buggered. Apache and Britsberger having to pit to repair damage. Fubuki's now 3 seconds clear. Cutler's still ahead of Obi-Wan, but only just. Soul Foods up to P4. We saw him have that little bit of contact with Britsberger. Rick to continue up to P5. He's getting pressure from P-Gib as we go through the S's. We're just on P-Gib's roof now. Yeah, I saw his picture, Steffies. He's got some huge TV, hasn't he? Isn't it like some 50-inch monstrosity? It looked good, actually. So we're watching P-Gib try and get past Rick to continue. Rick getting it all wrong there, coming out of the Degners. Rick having to go defensive then. P-Gib having to go deep, try and go for the cutback, get a faster exit. Meanwhile, Carrington's behind them looking to do the same thing. Not sure which cars are carrying damage. We can have a look at the graphics if we want to, but I find it sometimes more interesting to not. Fubuki now 4 seconds in the lead. Now, this is where I talk about strategy. Everyone might be on different strategies, different tyres, they might be doing different fuel saving things. We know Cutler loves to save his tyres, he loves to stretch a stint. As we see Rick to continue and P-Gib battle, this is going to go to 130R, this could get dicey. Rick to continue went to turn in, then decided against it and has to concede, and because he's had to back out of it, that's going to let someone else have a run on him as well. I think Britsberger's not too far behind, but Carrington then got himself through as well. P-Gib up to P5, Carrington snuck through to P6. The top 4 starting to break away a little bit. Backed up by Obi-Wan. We've got Soul Food to P4, Obi-Wan's backed out. Obi-Wan's actually dropped a place there. Cutler is leading the charge, but dropping time hand over fist to Fubuki in P1. It's 47, I think, not force means he doesn't take up my TV. Fair enough. Well, you can have me on the TV and him racing behind you. How's about that? I'm not selling this to you, I'm Staffers, to be fair. I'm sure you don't want your own TV just to watch racing. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. I have immediately hit the replay button. What's going on? Track clear, coming into the Degners. So who's binned it? That was Soul Foods. He was running quite high up. What happened to Soul Foods? I want to say he ran it wide coming out of the S's. This left-hander, if you hook a wheel on the right-hand side, there we go. That does have some epic suction power out there, and it sent Soul Foods backwards into the gravel. He's recovered it and he's back out into P9, 7 seconds behind, only 8 seconds ahead of Scrabo. Rick to continue now battling away with Britsberger. Britsberger trying desperately to get ahead of his fellow countryman. Has he got a run on him here coming into 130R? It's not always an overtaking spot. Rick to continue actually trying to stop the move there. You're better off really sometimes just waiting for the move down at the Casio Triangle. And you see that Britsberger's eagerness to get past has actually let Apache through. That was a superb move by Apache. I'm going to go back and have a look at that from his perspective. But Apache with the full send down the inside. Let's have a look at that from Apache's perspective. So he's following Britsberger here. He's got the overspeed, late as you like on the brakes, and they've got no answer to that there. Apache, 2 cars, 1 corner, job done. Beautiful move, my friend, beautiful move. He's now got to chase down a Carrington, who's 1.5 seconds away. The battle, though, really now is between P-Gib and Cutler. P-Gib, I'm losing track of this order. Where did P-Gib suddenly arrive from? P-Gib wasn't on the back of this train. Cutler's dropped a spot to Obi-Wan. I've got to be honest, I kind of saw that coming, but I didn't see P-Gib appearing from nowhere, because last I saw of P-Gib, he was cocking it up at Spoon. But he's recovered himself, he's up to P4 now, so whether the car's ahead of saving, tyres, saving fuel, carrying damage, I'm not sure. But P-Gib has absolutely reeled these guys in. Carrington's not far off that fight as well, he's only 2 seconds behind, so Carrington puts a few good laps in here, and these guys continue to squabble like they are. He will soon find himself at the back of that fight. You can see P-Gib just struggling to get past. Suzuka's not the widest of circuits. There's a handful of good overtaking spots, but you really need to set yourself up for them. Opportunistic overtakes rarely happen around here when you've got a load of good drivers on the field. 130R that we're coming to now isn't really an overtaking spot. You can hear P-Gib back out of it. That means he gets a really good run here into the Casio triangle, backs out of it again. Didn't think he was close enough to Cutler to go for the move. If you get a good exit out to the Casio triangle, you can go for the move down into T1. P-Gib picks up a little bit of oversteer there on the apex and has to get out the throttle, and that's just going to give Cutler the opportunity to scuttle off down the road. So P-Gib has to settle for P4 for the time being. Apache then is coming under pressure from Carrington, or no, Apache's got past Carrington. So Apache's actually the driver in the Ascendancy here. Carrington lost a spot there. I didn't see him catch him that quickly. I'm just intrigued. I'm just going to load up the full data. 51.3 for Apache. Yeah, so Apache got... I think Carrington must have made a mistake on that lap somewhere. It was a 53.2, so he lost 2 seconds. Most drivers running in like the 51s. Apache's last lap was 2 seconds quicker than the car he's coming up to. So P-Gib and Cutler are just slowing each other down now. They're in the 53s. Obi-Wan in the 51, so he's just escaping up the road, and Fubuki in the 49s. It will be said though, some of these drivers are carrying bits of damage, some of them are on different tyre compounds. Carrington now actually he's picked up a bit of he's got a lot of damage now, he's got engine damage. Carrington's going to have to limp that one home to the pits. He just picked up a boot full of oversteer coming out the hairpin. You do have to be really careful coming out of there that you don't do that. It is easy just to snatch the throttle. So this is Carrington. He's all on his own. He's got no other cars with him. Just goes a little bit deep, misses the apex. Just a tad early on the throttle. The car just had a little bit of steering input when he went for the throttle there, and that just spun him round. So he's now got to limp round to the pits with engine damage. Yeah, that's kind of race over for Carrington, I'm afraid, at the minute, unless he can do something with strategy. So if he wants to stick on a really durable set of tyres and go long, he possibly can do that. Fubuki, 15 seconds. Don't like driving with full damage on. No, that's fair enough, it's not for everyone. I think it adds to the realism of it, to be fair. These Group 2s though are a bit of a handful, so unless you know how to drive them, it's hard to drive them without tapping other cars in close contact. Fubuki's obviously got the hang of it though. He's 15 seconds ahead of everybody else. So P-Gib's got past Cutler. P-Gib's finally made that move stick, but that has let Apache catch up to them all. And so Apache for me is the man in the ascendancy at the minute. He's taking it better than other times. He's not shouting and swearing like he would normally. Yeah, well, normally, Staffers, it's someone else's fault. That one was all him. Oh, Cutler gets it wrong coming out the second Degner, and that's just going to give Apache an easy overtake there. I was too busy looking at chat. So the car in front is the one we're watching here. Cutler, what does he do? I think the car was just unsettled from that apex. He just picked up a little bit of opposite lock, but he rescued it nicely enough. But it did just give Apache enough. It sounds like someone I know. Oh, shut your mouth. Obi-Wan there. Obi-Wan just got it a little bit wide at Spoon. That's going to give P-Gib the run he needs coming into 130R. I'd imagine he'll back off. He is. So watch Obi-Wan here. He goes for the overspeed. Great move there by Obi-Wan if he can make that one stick. Oh, he goes deep. He goes deep, does P-Gib. And he just daylighted $1 short there was P-Gib, and he went just a little bit deep. Now Apache's coming at him. So Apache's bringing a Cutler along for the road. That has released Obi-Wan now. He can feel free just to race on. Apache's going to try and hang it around the outside at turn 1. Oh, that was always a risky move. That AstroTurf there has no grip. These soft compound tyres don't like the AstroTurf. They will. He's like ice to these tyres. I'm afraid there's nowhere for the rubber to dig into on that. So Apache then has lost a load of ground. Cutler's back up to P4. P-Gib, P3. So he's lost time, not necessarily positions, through that misendema at the end of the other lap. Obi-Wan, he's got a long way to go till he hits Fubuki, and he's gone deep down the hairpin. He's also not lapping anywhere as quick as Fubuki at the minute. He's still lapping in the high 49s. Despite that tyre wear you can see on your screen, indicated by the graphic at the bottom left. Fubuki's on another level at the minute, whereas the rest of them are just battling for best of the rest. Apache is on fire. He's absolutely flying through the pack then. Just the nature of his overtakes, I think, that have impressed me, and his racecraft's been brilliant. One or two mistakes have crept in, as we saw there at T1. It's just kind of upset the order a little bit, but you know, these things happen. So Fubuki pits. So this is for tyre wear related reasons. High deg circuit here at Suzuka. Your tyres will degrade quite rapidly. Essentially a free pit stop for the leader. He can come in and come out again and still have a lot of advances left over. Obi-Wan, will he get that front diffuser, front splitter fixed as well? This is going to drop him right at the back of the battle for 5th, I think, which he didn't want. I just about cut Soul Foods' nose off coming out of the pits. Sakari didn't want to get stuck behind. Soul Foods is out on very old tyres. At least Obi-Wan's a car that's got pace ahead of him and has been making moves in this race so far. So a couple of people have blinked with regards to pit stops. That pit stop has reduced Fubuki's advantage down to just 17 seconds after 8 laps. Yeah, make of that what you will. He can probably afford to pit again and come out. Probably afford to pit 3 or 4 times and come out ahead. But we'll see what P-Gib can do. He's just been absolutely dominant in the Creative Motorsport Ford Focus Championship. I was watching that over on Dark Smoker's YouTube channel. He absolutely dominated that. So he was hoping to transfer his skills over to these Group 2 machinery. The Group 2s, they are the Super GT stroke DTM modelled cars. They are very much a purpose-built race car. Although they look like the road cars, they are pretty much bottom-up designed to be racers. So they are very differently designed. FIOS are working, the engines typically mounted differently, the chassis is completely bespoke. As we see Apache and Obi-Wan go to war. Apache with the inside line. That's Obi-Wan's only going to lose time going the outside of 130, although it did surprise me that it went for that. It does usually make more sense, as we've seen P-Gib do a couple of times, just back out of it before spoon and just get back on the power, because I'm in the slipstream, it really helps you. But Obi-Wan has been released, Apache's pitted, so has Cutler, P-Gib, Soul Foods, and a couple of others. Cutler's in there as well. So P-Gib's going to come out ahead of Obi-Wan, who pitted a lap earlier. So first of the drivers who hasn't pitted then, everyone has now been in. Rick continues the last to pit. No one is disputing this man's ability at the minute though. Mr. Fubuki, 15 minutes gone of the race, 25 seconds ahead of every other car on track and coming towards back markers as we speak. Suzuka's not exactly a short lap. P-Gib just ahead of Obi-Wan. These guys have just pitted a lap apart. Obi-Wan on a slightly tougher compound, should have less tyre drop off. P-Gib's tyres should warm up quite quickly, however. Then we've got Britsberger versus Apache. Both cars have pitted very recently. Both seem to be on similar-ish strategies. Apache. It would be quite fair to say he's in a bit of a racy mood tonight, is P1 Apache. Cutler then out in P7 now. He's fallen off the back of that pack quite a lot actually. Soul Foods is ahead of him in P6. That's a car he would have wanted to get away in front of. Nevertheless, that's the hand he's been dealt. We've got Carrington then out in P8. Don't forget Carrington had that engine damage early on, which meant he lost a bucket load of time a couple of laps ago. So he's just making that back up then. Scrabo P10 has just been lapped by the race leader. Then Rick's continuing P9. And the race leader, as we've said, has just stuck a 47.9 on the board. Finally, Fabuki, you've beaten me, me low 48. Finally. Only took you 10 laps, lad. No, I'm joking. Fabuki's ridiculous. And the race pace he's got here is superb as well. Obviously, he's not bothering with saving any fuel, any tyres, anything like that. He's just going balls to the wall. Oh, he is saving fuel. Actually, short shifting quite a lot now. So obviously, his strategy has developed somewhat. P-Gib has dropped Obi-Wan quite a bit. 1.6 seconds is that gap now. Obi-Wan having just set his fastest lap of the race as well. So 50.4 that time round for Obi-Wan. For P-Gib it was a 47.5. That can't be right, because that would be the fastest lap of the race. That's GT Sport being idiotic. Oh, Apache's off. He's got engine damage. What happened here to Apache? So this was coming into the Degners. I'm going to guess he did a Cutler and just got a bucket load of curb. Yeah, bucket load of curb at the Degners. Bit of gravel, straight head on into that barrier. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean your race is over. It just means you have engine damage and you're slow as anything, basically. So that's Apache's race. Severely disrupted right now. Carrington, he tries to stay out of the way of the CRT driver as he goes through into P7. Free position for Carrington, and he can now focus on gaining on Cutler up ahead. Cutler on fresher tyres. Of course, we don't know what strategies people are adopting to this time around. So it's taken us 11 laps, but finally the race has settled down a little bit. We have a little bit of breathing space at the halfway mark. Mr. Fabuki absolutely dominating this. He's miles ahead of everybody else. Fuel saving quite a lot as well. Obviously not to 47.9 in just to show what he can do. He's back in the 49s now. Yeah, Vincent, stunning lap. Absolutely stunning lap by Fabuki. I'd imagine he'll now just lift and coast a little bit, probably save those tyres. He doesn't need to push too hard now, Fabuki. As you can see, he's just taking it easy on the throttle. He's not getting on the throttle any earlier than he absolutely has to. He's running quite a lot of curb, to be honest. I probably won't be being that brave, but he's obviously got the confidence to push. So P-Gib pulling away from Obi-Wan quite a lot now. 48.9 that time for P-Gib, 50.6 for Obi-Wan. We don't know obviously at this point what strategies these guys are running. Britsberger's P4 largely stayed out of trouble. Britsberger had that little misdemeanor at the start with Soul Foods. Since then, since getting out in clear traffic and since pitting and getting in clear air, basically Britsberger's took 3 seconds a lap off his time. So this clear air is really benefiting the Dutch driver, and he's out in P4, and he is the first non-British driver racing here. Soul Foods is the next, as we see Carrington there go wide. Let's just bookmark that in case we need to come back to it. Soul Foods gets it wrong at Casio Triangle. Cutler going to be anywhere near him. Cutler is. Carrington's not going to be anywhere near to take advantage, unfortunately. Soul Foods, yeah, just cooked it a little bit too high going into the Casio Triangle and dropped a load of time. That's lost him 7 seconds, that has. Yeah, this is Carrington. Carrington got it wrong at Spoon. I'm afraid. Let's see if we caught what happened. Just went too deep. I went into the gravel trap. And these Group 2 cars don't like the gravel traps very much. So 18 minutes remaining, past the halfway mark. Now is a good time to shout out some sponsors. So of course this event is hosted and organised by Tanzo Racing Group. They are sponsored by Tribal Branding, Motorsport Wall Art, MK Designs, and there's another one that constantly evades me. Motorsport Wall Art, that's him. You'll see the logos on the cars anyway, so you don't need me to tell you. There they go, they're all on there, look. Just look at Obi-Wan's car, they're on there. So it would be awfully nice of you if you went and checked their pages out on Facebook. Christmas is coming up, don't forget. So if you've got someone who likes motorsports in their life, a lot of these companies do nice motorsport themed gifts and things and stuff that you can check out. Tribal Branding obviously do branded clothing, so check them out for that sort of stuff as well. If you're into sim racing and you're liking what you see, you're thinking I'd quite like to smash a Group 2 car around, then please get on board, get on Facebook, get joined up. There's quite a few groups that work together, so we do then to share drivers. Carrington's from Charlatans, P1 Apache is obviously from P1, I'm from MRC, so is Fubuki, P Gibbs from Next Gen, but we all race under the same sort of banners when we race, so it's nice that we've got this community built up. Recently had a battle of the groups, so our plans in place I guess was to do that again in 2021. We'll see. We will of course see. So Fubuki's not growing that gap anymore, so that gap is staying at about 26 seconds now, which is not bad news for Fubuki. It just means he's managing at this minute in time. Obi-Wan's still getting dropped by the cars ahead. Britzberger's not catching Obi-Wan, so well he is, he's 4 seconds behind, but he's not gaining much time on him. These guys are all coming up to some traffic now. So Apache now he's got his damage fixed. Where is he? So he's just knocked in a 49.7, so that's Apache's fastest lap of the race so far. That damage cost him 30 seconds though. So he's 17 seconds behind Soul Foods. Yeah, see that gap has dropped him way out of this fight for fourth, which is unfortunate, very unfortunate. So Fubuki's not far for pit stop, I feel. I kind of feel he's waiting for about the 13-14 minute mark to come in again. So I'll probably go on for another lap or two potentially. Pitted lap 7 last time, so yeah, I'd actually expect him in end of this lap if he's going to stick to form, but who knows. P Gibbs similar sort of strategy. Obi-Wan's carrying a little bit less fuel, so is Britzberger. Cutler's actually got a lot more fuel on board than the cars ahead, and fresher tyres as well, so he's pitted relatively recently, hasn't he? Soul Food's 2.5 seconds behind Cutler. His tyres are looking in decent shape. So are Apache's. Carrington's are looking brand new, that's because he's pitted the lap before. Carrington might well be going to the end now, trying to make these super softs last however many laps we have remaining. 14 minutes, less than 2 minutes, like probably got another about 5-6 laps remaining in this one, I'd guess. My rough maths are no good though. So does the leader pit? He's got enough time to pit, fuel up, tyre up and come out ahead. He's got to carry on for another lap, is Fubuki. So he's stretching this middle stint slightly, but oh, we've got carnage, we've got carnage, and we've got engine damage for Obi-Wan. We've got P Gibb with rear end damage. What on earth has happened between these two? That's given Britzberger the opportunity to steam through into P3. Cutler's 13 seconds behind, so when he does pit to repair that damage, Obi-Wan, he's going to have to, as we see P Gibb make a mess of it as well. Oh, P Gibb just about rescues that. P Gibb's got rear suspension damage. He's probably going to want to come in and fix that. Britzberger pits because he's on no fuel, but he will come out ahead of the other cars, I'd imagine. What on earth happened? Right, let's go back and have a look at this. So we're looking at Obi-Wan. This is... oh, P-Gib gets it wrong at Spoon. Right, so there's P-Gib. So P-Gib gets it wrong at Spoon. So he's going to re-enter the track, I'm going to guess. And Obi-Wan's going to smack him up. Yeah. So Obi-Wan kind of caught unsighted there. Now having fixed that damage is out in P6 behind Cutler. P-Gib's in P4. Okay. Spice package then at the minute. Soul Food's running P2. When he pits, he's going to lose a ton of spots, to be fair, Soul Foods, but he's extending this stint. Fubuki's still extending. Does he pit this lap? I appreciate just covering all that. Probably lost us a little bit of context in the race, but I guarantee you will get that back. Does Fubuki pit? Give me a better camera angle, thank you. There we go. Yeah, he pits. Soul Foods then, he's 50 seconds behind him, so in other words, Fubuki's going to pit, do what he needs to do, and he's going to come out with a sizable gap to the cars behind still. Soul Food's dicing with death there at Spoon. I would probably expect him in this lap or next. A lot of other cars are now fueled and tired to the end. Apache's the next car that's looking at a pit stop soon, as he's just trying to negotiate a back marker. Carrington, I think he's going to the end. Richter continues, probably going to want to get those tyres off soon. And Scrabo has just pitted as well. So Fubuki comes out of the pits. We'll wait for the time delta to update. We have to wait for that to happen. It won't happen until Britsburger's past sector 1 at the very least, I don't think. So Obi-Wan then will be kind of kicking himself. He had a great time out last time. Obviously currently championship leader is Obi-Wan after winning at Spa. P-Gib got third in that race, Britsburger got second. So the way it's going, Britsburger is set to get another P2. But this will do him, this probably will actually put him top of the championship. If it finishes like it is. If it finishes like this. We've got 10 minutes to go yet, and I think the opening half hours just kind of proved that anything can happen in this race. Cutler's doing a good job in P4. He's got Obi-Wan behind. I'd expect Obi-Wan to start closing him down a little bit, but you know what Cutler's like. He's a bit of a wily fox when it comes to his strategy. So he's got enough fuel in that car. P-Gib's got a little bit more. Obi-Wan P5 then. After that contact a couple of laps ago with P-Gib, that cost him about time, so yeah, lost loads of time has Obi-Wan out of that one. But P-Gib also lost the time. All that really did was put Cutler back into the picture and gave Britsburger P2 really. We've got Soul Foods P6 at the minute. Now he has pitted, he's got loads of fuel on board that car, but he's got a comfortable lead ahead of Carrington. Carrington's car is going to be significantly lighter and I'd imagine quicker. Apache fallen way back in the order then after his pit stop. P8 for Apache, P9 for Rick to continue, P10 for Scrabo. Fubuki's where is he? There was a car, I think it was Carrington that went to come and put a lap on Scrabo. So the delta's updated then. Fubuki's 39 seconds to the good. He can afford to take this last stint very carefully. Britsburger setting personal best sector times. He's not about to do that. He's got to race to he's got a race to contend. P-Gib's going to want to try and get that P3. He goes purple sector 1 does P-Gib. Purple means fastest of anyone at any point in the race up to that point in the track. So sector 1 is basically turn 1 and the S's. So he's negotiated that, although he has dropped all that time away in sector 2. Cutler's just set his fastest lap of the race. He's 2.5 seconds behind P-Gib, and he's got over 3 seconds to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan, who's just set at 49.5. So he's going faster than Cutler ahead, which is important for the end of the race. He's got 3 seconds the gap, and he's got what? Oh, Cutler's going to help him out there. This is going to be Obi-Wan, I think. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. So I'm on board with Obi-Wan. We pressed the replay button by accident, I do apologise. But Obi-Wan, because Cutler went wide, suddenly chucked a second out of the car ahead. So he'll be looking to potentially make that move. Let me get rid of the graphics at the bottom now. I don't like having them on. This is way more of a realistic look. So that lap for Cutler, not very fast. P-Gib pulling away a little bit from Cutler. Obi-Wan has reduced that gap by a second at that lap alone, but we know that's because Cutler made a mistake at Spoon. But all Obi-Wan really needs to do is keep it sort of moderately clean, I guess. So there's a bit of spacing behind most cars now. Fubuki's still pushing away. 41 seconds is the gap now. Britzberger, a comfortable P2 for Britzberger at the minute. He's got a 4-second gap to P-Gib. P-Gib's got a decent gap over Cutler. Let's actually jump on board with Fubuki and take you for a lap of Suzuka. So 47.7 that time round for Fubuki, a new fastest lap of the race. Down into turn 1, a little bit of a lift here. You dab your brake as you hit the apex on the inside. Use your gear shifts to rotate the car as you enter the S curves for the first time. These come at you like a machine gun. They get ever tightening as well. Turn 5 here, really tight. You want to hook that green apex up in the middle. Fubuki actually catches a little bit of grass, has to get out of the throttle. Dunlop curve tightens on exit, so you want to just be really careful about your throttle application. Don't run too wide there, through to the Degnas. Degna 1, a little bit of a lift in these cars just to settle the car, and then Degna 2, slight camber. You really want to hook that inside apex up to slingshot the car around, down into the hairpin then. Nice and tidy there by Fubuki. You can hear him using the gears to slow the car down rather than the brakes as well sometimes. Turn 12 is a big, long, sweepy right-hander boy as you come into Spoon. Turn 13 and 14. It's a double apex left-hander. You treat it as one big corner though, as you can see Fubuki there. Just misses the apex on the outside. A lot of drivers will do that just for safety. Then down towards one of the most famous corners in motor racing, 130R, turn 15, flat out in these cars. You don't need to lift or anything, there's that much downforce. Down to the Casio triangle, brake about 100 metres. Again, use your brakes, hook the curbs up. Nice and tidy lap there by Fubuki. He's currently a holder of the fastest lap at 47.7. He's not going to match that this time round. He did make a couple of mistakes in there, but extends his advantage at the front. Britzberger then, with 5 minutes to go, currently P2. P-Gib is P3. He's got past Cutler somewhere. We must have missed that during our onboard lap. Now let's see if we catch it at all. No, we don't. We don't catch it. We don't see it. So P-Gib then, set for another podium position. Another P3 actually, so setting them third as they were from last week. Just the winner's different because Obi-Wan's relinquishing all the way down in P5 after that contact with P-Gib. He came off that worst, he had engine damage, he had to pit for quite a while. And unfortunately he's not been able to use the force to get himself all the way back up there, so he's P5, but he's looking like he's closing in on Cutler. He's got a couple of laps, I think they've got another 2 laps after this one, maybe. We'll see how it runs when we get there. So Obi-Wan looking like he might catch P4 actually. This is Cutler's rear view going through the S's. I'm just watching the gap between him and Obi-Wan. It has been growing a little bit. Cutler's negotiating these a lot better than Obi-Wan is at the minute. He's actually pulled 2 temps on him here. So Obi-Wan then. Oh, we've just seen Obi-Wan bin it. Obi-Wan just into the second egg now. I think he just did the old-fashioned, took too much curb on the exit. Yeah, he did what Apache did earlier on. Fortunately, though, he saw what were coming and steered away from the wall, and that saved his engine. Importantly, Vincent, will P. Gibb get a penalty for unsafe entering the track? Stewart's decision, mate, not mine. It depends on whether the drivers report it and everything else. So, yeah, we don't know. We don't know, mate. At this stage, it's too early to tell. It'd be nice, I think. And I think that's something a lot of clubs are looking at for GT7. Is race stewarding during the race. But it's hard to do because you can't watch all cars at all times. I think as a steward you'd have to be in the driver's chat, drivers would have to flag it up and you'd have to go back and look at it. It would be really awkward to do. But I guess if you're really serious about it, then that could be made possible. Cutler pits then. Cutler gone for new tyres. I don't know if he's going for the fastest lap point or what, but that's going to drop him back behind Soul Foods, I think. Yeah, it is. So Soul Foods goes through for P5, Obi-Wan P4. He's 11 seconds behind P. Gibb. Even for a driver like Obi-Wan, I don't think 2 laps is enough to bring that down. I have to be honest with you. Just checking all the guys at the back. Scrabo P10. He's carried on, I'll be honest with him, but he's just not felt this track so far. I don't think. Rick to continue. P9 for Rick then. Again, has constantly stuck at it. He's 15 seconds behind Carrington, who is in P8. Rick's about to get a lap put on him by Fabuki as well. Carrington's 14 seconds behind Apache. Apache, who had that off, however, otherwise has been absolutely brilliant. And I love his poppy themed livery that he's rocking today, because of course today's, remember, it's Sunday. Cutler pitted. I don't understand why he's pitted this late on unless he had to for fuel, but I don't know. We obviously may hear that from him later on. That has given Soul Foods a promotion up to P5. Soul Foods has actually been quite impressive this race. He's kept his nose clean. I think he did have some contact with Britsberger. Britsberger now probably won't be that bothered about it being in P2. Obi-Wan, after that contact with P. Gibb, he'll probably feel a little bit aggrieved about that, I'll be honest. P. Gibb in P3, just about to start his last lap now. He's 2 seconds behind Britsberger. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do anything about that P2 spot. We'll wait and see. Fabuki, though, is on his 22nd lap. And this will be his last lap now. So he is coming round to lap cars. We'll just keep an eye on Fabuki as he finishes his race, his first race in this championship. He's coming round to lap Rick, I think. Although I think Rick will just about survive this one. So Fabuki, 50 seconds ahead of everybody else. P1, absolutely dominant performance by Fabuki. He'll be chuffed to bits with that. P1 for him. Britsberger then looking like he's going to take P2. And P. Gibb is looking pretty sold for that P3 spot. Obi-Wan P4 on the road. Soul Foods P5 at the minute. Cutler P6. Apache is currently P7. Carrington has finished in P8. Of course he will have crossed the line after the flag was dropped. And Scrabo in P10. Let's keep an eye on these guys then. Is anything going to happen between these? 1.7 seconds is the gap between Britsberger and P. Gibb. Pending an absolute disaster, I think Britsberger's got this one sewn up. Just needs a nice and tidy break into the Casio triangle. Hook the curves up nicely. Nice and easy on the power. And that's going to be Britsberger take P2 in the second race. That might launch him up to the championship lead. P. Gibb in P3. Obi-Wan Probably rescued something from the race after that engine damage. P4. Although we might see an inquiry into that yet. P5 for Soul Foods, P6 in the end for Cutler, P7 for P1 Apache. So that has been your race, ladies and gents. Race number 2. Cheers, Steffers. Thank you very much. Appreciate you tuning in the way through as well. Vincent, good racing. No worries, Vincent. P-Gib was a re-entry bad. I'll be honest, P-Gib, because I know I can be. Yes, it was. But the thing is, you were ghosted. You were ghosted at the time, so whether it was just GT Sport doing GT Sport things, I was under the impression if you kept it slow enough, you stayed ghosted until you were back underway again, but for some reason, you had contact with him. Yeah, we caught the end of it on stream, and I did go back and have a look at it. I just have a chat with Obi-Wan, but on the stream it looked like you were ghosted. I personally, I've done the same thing, weirdly enough, at the same track myself. I would have just took it and waited for the car to pass. There's enough of a gap, I guess, behind Obi-Wan to come out safely. But that's just my 2 pence, mate. That's all. And I'm by no means a race steward for Tanzo, so we'll see. We'll see what he says. I think we go to Kyoto next. I think. In the Richter Vought Nissan GTR Cup. So tune in for that one. Fubuking fast. Yeah, Fubuki's something else, mate. I've raced with him a couple of times, commentated a load of his races. I was in Fusion League of GTTCC with him this season. Unfortunately, I retired out of it because I just had too much going on in personal life, so I didn't bother finishing the league. But Fubuki was rapido in that as well. Had some good battles with Fubuki during that time. So, yeah, he's a good driver, and he'll certainly upset the apple cart here as well. Welcome, Cutler, not a problem. Yeah, P-Gib, I'd just speak to Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan's a good dude. He'll, you know, if you just drop him a message on Facebook or whatever and just apologise, I'm sure you can talk it out like adults. It'll be absolutely fine. Cheers for the comms. No worries for Books. No worries Carrington. No worries Britsburger. Always a pleasure. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment as well. If you're watching this on Twitch, then you should already have followed me. So, I hope you've already done that. And I've been kicked out of the lobby, so that's, in other words, time to end the stream. Thanks for watching this time round. I'm not a steward, so don't mind my comments. No, it's Vincent, me either, not for this league anyway. So, yeah. Right, that's it. I'll see you all in the next one. Tune in next Sunday for more hot Group 2 action. In terms of streaming, this is really all I'm doing at the minute, because it's off-season for a lot of leagues. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have got some stuff coming up for when the leagues restart again, and I'm doing some races in the meantime, so we'll see what happens. Right, thanks for watching, people. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe, avoid the coronavirus and all that sort of stuff, and hopefully see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.